What is going on, people? Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and tell you who are the winners of the giveaway that I did promise. Here are the gift cards. You probably can't see them very well. I don't know. Anyway, for those of you that went ahead and supported the channel, I appreciate you so much. I actually went ahead and picked a couple of different videos here, and I was looking over the comments, and I ran into a problem. First of all, not as many people participated as I anticipated. So that means that after looking at the comments, I ran into the same people. So at the end of the day, there are 7 winners. And there are some good ones that actually let me go ahead and share some of you. I thought these were pretty damn good. Okay, here's one of them from Yusuf Ziad. What kind of shoes do ninjas wear? Sneakers. Really? Here's another one from Kevin Sanchu. When you make a child or a new channel to support the family, but he moves out and makes a living on his own. Pretty much. I like that one. And you see how Yusuf is here again. The other two that were like in pretty much all the videos were Master Wolf and a Lone Wolf 026, which I hope the wolves are not the same people. But yeah, I ran into the same people over and over, and some of them were just straight up funny, like this one. Today a man knocked on my door and asked for a small donation towards the local swimming pool. I gave him a glass of water. So anyway, here are the winners, okay? Alone Wolf 026, Master Wolf, Kevin Sanchu, Yusuf Ziad, Mari, Royal Cobra, and the Spank Bank. Those are the ones that I saw in pretty much all of the videos, and that's some of the best comments. So we will be doing another giveaway for next month, but this one, I'm just gonna tell you guys that there's gonna be a giveaway, but you're gonna have to find out on the other channel if you want to participate. But either way, appreciate everybody that helped support the channel. Message me with your account. I'm gonna go ahead and save the accounts, that way nobody can copy your name or whatever, so don't worry about that. I will bookmark your account, and then from there we'll go ahead and give out these gift cards for you. So get in contact with me, put your comments down below, especially if you're one of these, that way I can make sure that it is you, and then we'll figure out the best way to get in contact, whether that's line chat, Discord, whatever it may be. All right, that way we can get these cards over to you. But yeah, on to the video. What's going on, people? Today we're gonna go ahead and talk about gear, stats. It's a bunch of miscellaneous stuff because I got my my champion Valor to Mythic. Finally, I also got these BP gifts, which it did help. It did help a little bit because you get some main, some blazing embers and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I got my second accessory to Mythic. I did have some extra mains to make my my second faith to purple, but obviously a purple faith is not gonna be as good as a Mythic cup. So that's why I'm still rocking the cup. I did something that I normally wouldn't do, but it's a temporary thing, right? And you might already notice this cup has a cavalry jewel instead of being infantry range, which might affect my 442. This one right here, but here's why I did it, right? Because on my mixed, now if you take a look at the stats, essentially this mix is the priority is going to be like a 4-4 or 3-5 type of mix set, and for that you don't want your range to be super high, because if your range dies last, then you might actually get countered just because their cavalry is going to hit your infantry. That's a whole nother discussion for 4-4, but either way, my range at the moment, I feel it's a bit too high. As a matter of fact, if I could take out another range jewel and put in another calf jewel, it would be ideal. But I just don't want to do it from the champion blade. Although I may have to, at least temporarily, Just so this would be like cavalry and infantry around 300% and then range 180. That would be pretty good. But with these jewels, like there's only so much that I can do to move around. And this is also one of the reasons why I went champion Valor. Is because if you go all faiths, right? Let's say I have all 3 faiths, even the purple one, then you'll have a little bit less range, yes, but then when you go with another different formation that's not 4-4, you're gonna suffer. With the Valor, at least it gives you some flexibility, right? So I'm kind of playing around with it, and even now, like if I put these this faith, if you take a look at the stats, range attack 165, not bad, and then infantry 283, cavalry 282, pretty damn close. But the difference between a purple and a mythic, it's probably the difference between this stats going up to 300%. Matter of fact, let me actually take a look right now. Event equipment. So purple is what? 9, 9, and 6 compared to mythic, which is 21. Yeah, that's a 12% increase, and 12% in just the attacks. And then 8% in army attack, and then the HP is another 20%. Yeah, it's a big boost. So that's kind of what I'm messing around with. I am messing around also with the talents, because these talents right here, as you can tell, it's heavy on the infantry and cav, but it doesn't have any emphasis on the range outside of the range 3, just because that's just too much stats to pass up. So this would be like my 4-4 stats for talents. And then if I ever want to go 4-2, even though it's not the greatest right now because that cup has that cav jewel, then I would just simply go down and go to the 4-2 section, which is pretty much the same thing, except it has no cavalry instead of the range. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of like, tomorrow in Dragon Arena I will be testing some of these out, especially this mix set, because right now it's at a weird place, right? Because infantry is fairly high. I don't have an issue with infantry. Cavalry is kind of up there too, so that's okay. But the main fault of this one is that the range is just way too high. 200%. It's a little too high, especially if you go up against another decent 4-4. It's just not very good. And as a matter of fact, if I can go ahead and show you some replays, which I may still have. Okay, I actually do still have this replay from, this has been a while now, right? Like this was like 2 weeks ago, something like that, right? Now, this was me attacking Kim Gasoline. It's a weird name. But we were pretty much going with the same 4-4. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the battle report. So if you take a look at it, they have 4-4, but the big difference here is that my T5 is actually higher than theirs. My T5 is higher than theirs. Our gear were fairly similar. I don't know if they're in gear or not. They're not in gear. But our gears was pretty similar and everything, and we lost by a pretty decent margin, 500k. Now you might be, oh well, yeah, maybe their stats were better, but in fact, if you take a look at this battle report, there's something that you need to see, right? If you take a look at my total losses, you see that most of my losses are my range, which is obvious because I'm in a range formation, but then my losses are my infantry instead of my cavalry, right? And if you take a look at their losses, their range, because of course it's a range formation, but then after that, what they start losing is actually their cavs, not their infantry. Now you might say, well, what happened there? Here's the difference. Their range actually died first. And you might think, oh, the front line died first, that means you win. Well, no. The reason they won by the margin that they won is because once their range fell, their cavalry actually started attacking my infantry, whereas my infantry started attacking their cavalry. So it literally worked completely against me. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you this battle, because you'll see that I was leading fairly good until the range died, and then you see their cavalry just rip me a new one. So yeah, let take a look at the morale. You'll see that the morale is fairly close. for most of it until their calves just start hitting my infantry. So there you go. It's still fairly close. All the familiars are going off, you know, still fairly close. But watch what happens when their range dies. Yeah, luminary marks died, and then look. Now it's when you see the big difference in morale. You see how my morale is just getting eviscerated now? It's not because there's a huge stat difference or anything like that. It's just straight up because once the range fell, their cavalry went straight to my infantry, and I was basically countered at that point. So when you're going 4-4, just having better stats doesn't guarantee you the win, because you guys saw there, I was winning, or at least it was fairly close for more than half of that, and then once the cavalry went into my infantry, it was GG. It was like I was doing no damage. So that's why when I am looking at this set and I'm looking at my range stats, that's why I say it's too high. And you know, some people would say, well, too high, that's a weird problem to have, but it is a problem, especially when you're going 4-4. If your range stats are too high, if your range survives for too long, it can cost you the loss, even if you have better stats. So best case scenario for me would be to lose somewhere between 30 to 40% range attack and the HP, and carry that over to the calves. Now, one thing that people are doing to kind of combat that is, instead of going 4-4, what they're doing is they're going 3-2-5, and the reason you do that is you actually have less infantry. That way you don't kill the range as quickly, and then your cavalry is higher. That way that if your cavalry does target the infantry, it'll be a big difference, right? So that's one of the main things that people are doing to combat that 3-5. And also, one other thing that I've noticed that people are also doing that seems to work is, instead of going in a range phalanx, whereas you get the range attacking, then the range falls, and then from there it's a crapshoot whether it's going infantry or cav, what people are actually doing successfully, funny enough, is actually going cavalry phalanx. Now you might think, well, that's counterproductive, but the reason you go cavalry phalanx is because, remember, cavalry is going to be one of your bigger squads, and if you go cavalry into a 4-4, their range is usually their weakest, so their kill potential is actually not very high, and when your infantry gets to that range and takes it out, you are going to be countering them with your cav. So you're never going to run into the scenario where your range falls and then you just get completely countered, cavalry into infantry. If you go cavalry phalanx, you actually might turn out even better. And I know I have said that going cavalry phalanx might be suicide, especially into a range front. So you have to kind of go with your discretion. Like, do they seem to have a lot of range stats? Because if they do, maybe it's not the best. Do they have a lot of range? You know, if they still have like 1,000,000 range in there or something, maybe not the best thing to do, but it has been done successfully. So that's something that I have seen that works. But formation is everything, man. Formation is everything. You can even try range wedge. The problem with this, though, is that when you go range wedge into a range phalanx, what's going to happen is the infantry and the cav are going to end up in the same place. So what's going to be targeted, it's still out of your control, because the cavalry and the infantry are still going to be in the same spot, meaning that the targeting system is going to be a little wonky. So that's the main issue with 4-4. You kind of have to hope and pray that after the range falls, you just don't get completely countered. And that's why it kind of worries me. That's why I also took out the range jewel from this to kind of lower my range a bit. But and I'm honestly thinking about taking this range out of the champion blade, because, excuse you, sir, because honestly the champion blade, I don't use it for range. I use the rod. The main hand I actually use for infantry, but taking out the range jewel won't actually make any difference, right? So that's one thing that I can do, and if I do that, I would lose 20% range, which will put me at 180, and I will gain 20% cav, which will put me at 293, which that might actually be the the move right now. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm kind of debating because it sucks to kind of take an infantry range weapon and duel it with infantry cav. But until I get my last faith to Mythic, I think, because once I get my last faith to Mythic, then the numbers are actually going to look good. Like, dueled this way, 165% range attack, and then these stats right here are going to be, like, around 300%. That's perfect for 424. So once I'm done with this, and I can get this faith to Mythic, I can go ahead and reduel this to have cav. Or not cav, to have infantry range. But until then, I think that might be the move, to put the cavalry jewel into the champion blade, at least momentarily, at least for now. I don't know. I'm still kind of debating, and that's why this coming Dragon Arena, I really want to test out my 4-4, or maybe even go 3-5, and see how it goes. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is something that I really want to test out, because from what I've noticed, 4-4, if your range stats are too high, it's actually pretty bad. I know people like that. People that run 4-4, but they have pretty even stats. They don't have very good. They don't have very good results, and that's why. So I don't know. I'm gonna be trying this out. Hopefully, I can get my my faith here at least to gold, because at gold, at least it's it's passable at gold. But purple, it's still, you're losing too much stats to replace a cup. So still a long ways to go. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, because I think I'm gonna reduel before Dragon Arena. Yeah, drop your comments down below. Appreciate you guys for watching, and until later, bye.